Welcome back on Dynamod. Today I want to propose you a video about the review about the fax for Age of Sigmar released by the Games Workshop the 10 May 2022, related about the CoreBook and the Handbook 2021. This last one, it's caused has been released some facts that can be interesting, so I prefer treat this time them. Anyway, I want to remind you that these are an update of the facts, so in the description you can find all the facts related about the previous ones that has been released. So each time I only update the new facts so that I don't have to repeat every time all the facts. And there is also another thing that I added, and it's about Battlescroll the Hunt that has seen an update because there's been going to be released the Daughter of Cain and the Night Hunt new bottoms. So has been released new facts that change those parts about the Battlescroll the Hunt, so I'll go to talk about them. Anyway, in the description you can find the previous video about such Battlescroll the Hunt, because the main rules and everything else it's completely the same, has only been changed such things related about the Doctor of Cain and Night Hunt, so that I treat them simply, but all the other things are still valid, so I make you refer about those ones so that you don't have any problem about where you can find all the explanation about Battlescroll the Hunt. So now we can begin see about such facts. And then we had the facts related about the CoreBook, and the first one is related about the end spells. In the chapter 1.1.1 it states that a player can include one end spells for each wizard in the army. And if I give a hero the Arcane Tome Universe announcement, it's asked if, because it makes it a wizard, does it allow to include an additional end spells in my army? And it say yes. I think that in some way it's obvious, because you select such announcement when you create your roster, so it's not when you are on the battlefield, but before you are on the battlefield you can understand you create the part about which ones are the wizard, and so which ones are allowed to have an end spells associated. So it's quite simple eventually, but it can avoid some misunderstanding. So it's a good thing that has been brought these facts so that it forbid every misunderstanding that can happen about such object, that I think that it's quite interesting. So eventually think about such, because it can change or confirm some maybe your doubt that you had about such. And then we have a fact related about the command at the double, and it's asked if any rules that affect the run rules still apply, and it say no, and it's almost obvious because you don't make any rule for at the double when you use such command, because it's add automatically 6 inch to those movement characteristics. So think about such, but it's almost obvious because it's a fixed amount, it's not rerolling at all, so you can't reroll something that is fixed. So it's good that there is cause no misunderstanding. Still it's something that it should be understandable. Anyway, good that has been explained. And then we have another fact related about the strike first and strike last effect, and it's important moreover if you go to play about the sublight, because has been added some interesting rules about such, and so you have to pay attention about this, because it's asked if the strike last effect applies to a unit and after fighting that unit is now within 3 inches of an enemy unit that has not yet fought in that phase. Is that enemy unit now eligible to fight? So if that unit can fight first than the one that has the strike last effect, and they say yes, so it means that it involves all the combat related, and you have to pay attention about this, because it's quite important to understand how you have the time activation of the different units. So it's really quite important to understand that it was all the combat, even if it's modified along the combat itself. So pay attention about such. And then we have something that it's an explanatory, but it's good that there is, because there could be a lot of misunderstanding about. Anyway, it's such. When a rule mentions that the wound characteristic of a unit, what does it refer to? And it's explained that it refers to the value written next to the wound on a unit's Battlescroll, and note that this unit is never multiplied by the number of models in that unit, nor modified by the wound allocated to that unit. In addition, if a specific model in a unit has a different wound characteristic to the rest of the models in the unit, the wound characteristic of the unit is still the value written next to the wounds, even if all other models in that unit has been slain. So it's really quite important, because there are a lot of options that could change the ways. Think about the sublet cables with the Castelli that can change eventually the amount of wounds of the models. So it's really quite important to understand this and remember that it's such. So it doesn't mind how you modify the wounds, how you are able to change everything, or if your model is wounded. Everything is related about the number on the Battlescroll. So it's something that you have to pay attention, because it's simple, it's understandable, but it's important to understand how it works, and it forbids any other modifying. It's only that specific number to have referral to, so pay attention. And then we go to see about the facts related about the General Handbook 2021. And the first one is, if I have multiple abilities and other effects to be applied at the start of my hero phase, can I apply them before I pick my battle tactic? Pay attention about this, before you pick your battle tactic. Also, if this allows me to slay the enemy general, could I then pick slay the warlord as my battle tactic and complete it? Yes, to both. So it's something that you have to pay attention, because it means that you can apply those before select the battle tactic, and so it means quite a lot. And it means that it applies also to the battle tactic, the slay the warlord, that you complete after that you apply it. So it's quite interesting, because it means that it's a sort of gray part, because you can solve the previous battle tactics and in some way solve also the next one, because if you apply and kill with those abilities the enemy warlord, you anyway are able to apply the slay the warlord. So it's really quite interesting, because it's a sort of way that you can apply different battle tactics at the same time, and it's quite interesting. So pay attention about this, because it's a thing that make you understand how the things develop. So it's really good. And then we have a question about the coalition units with the battle line battlefield and the Blackbone of SAS rule of the power in numbers battle plan, that is say that if there are any battle line units within 6 inches of an objective, then only models from battle line units can contest that objective. So it's really quite important, because it says that you can use the coalition units with the battle line battlefield rules having such option. So it means that it's quite important, so that you can variate what you can use as battle line to control the objective eventually. So you don't need necessarily the ones from the main force, but also the coalition units can be used. So it's really quite important one to remember. And then we have something that is quite important about specific battle plan, that it's Abex Predators, and two specific battletoms that are the Ogre Move Tribes and the Sons of Mammoth, that see nullified a specific battle trait, because they can't be used the might makes rise and the mighters makes writer. So there are two battle traits that in a specific battle plans are useless, are completely negated. So it's quite important for those battletons and your opponents about those battletons to know about such, because it's really quite important about. And last but not last, it's about the Battlescroll the Hunt, about the removal from the Grand Alliance Order priority target of the units of Blastalkers and Moratti Kane that are related about the new Battleton Daughters of Cain that are not anymore priority target, and about the Grand Alliance staff, we have the removal from Prime Hunters of the Army of the Night Hunt, that now it's not anymore so a Prime Hunter, so you have to think, and it's also again this related about the release of the new battle tome of the Night Hunt. So this is a change, everything else it's the same, so take note about such changes because they can be important for you. Moreover, if you are going to play with the Army of the Night Hunt or if you are going to select some priority targets, so pay attention. So, from Dino Mode, it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again to the next time.